But it only takes 3 days to quantum leap. To quantum leap only takes 3 days. To create a completely different world only takes 72 hours, man. And I know that because of one thing. I only know that because of pressure. I only know that because of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll say it like this. Like normally when we have these conversations with each other, man, with our brothers, and we talking about, sharing stories of how we got it out the mud. Like, it's normally a longer story because we're kind of talking about the things that led up to it. We're talking about the events that made the transition or that caused the transition. And then we're talking about the results that followed. So it seems like the quantum leap, like even doing the internal work, is a long journey. But it can be done. Like, you can be living in a different world in 3 days. Quick plug, man, the recipe, man, for those that don't follow me on Instagram. I might have posted this on YouTube. The recipe, pre-orders are available. The recipe comes out on the 23rd. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, I'll say this. Let me back up a little bit. Like, when you hear me say the word recipe, the recipe, Of course, y'all know I'm referring to that digital product that I made, some years ago. But when I'm saying the recipe, what I'm saying is I'm talking about that. This is what I'm talking about when I say the recipe. I'm talking about that substance that interacts with that God substance. Like when Nikola Tesla was talking about, I believe that energy can ride the waves of the invisible. Like there's something there. Or when Wallace Wattles was saying, hey, there's this thinking stuff that whatever you put into that thinking stuff, like it's going to present itself to you. I'm talking about what it is we're supposed to be putting into that when I say the word recipe, which is your thoughts, which is your habits, and which are your actions. Even in a singular truth, man, I said a man doesn't really understand that these three attributes created his world. And since he doesn't understand that, he doesn't understand that those same three things in a different direction or under a different blend or under a different formula will present something different. And I'm telling you, you can make that transition in 3 days and be living in a different world. But the reason we don't not understand, the reason a lot of people may not believe that is because maybe a lot of people have never been under like pressure. Like when pressure is in your life, oh brother, you move different. And I began to look at, like I could look back at my life, back at square one, teenager. I could look at when my life was making huge jumps. Like it was because there was a lot of pressure. Like those were pressure points where a lot of something was going on. For example, when I talk about, and I made a video about a year or two ago, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, where I was talking about what was taking place before I joined the military. I was like living in some dark space, like not dark like evil, but I was just living young man. I was a young man, just kind of living kind of reckless, right? And some things were taking place, man. Some people very close to me were going to jail. And I told myself, like, I said, I need to be in a different reality like now. Of course, I don't think I was using those words, but my inner being was saying, brother, you got to get out of here. Like in every way, you got to get out of here, man. Think butterfly effect. The movie Butterfly Effect. Y'all remember when Kutcher was reading those words in that book and the world started shaking and he was just gone. I needed to be gone that quick. And I can remember putting myself in a cell, and doing some things and changing some things. And in a few days, my life was different. In 2 weeks, I was flying to basic training. 2 weeks from the day I made that decision. And if y'all know anybody that's in the military, y'all know that a 2-week process is fast. I mean, it takes months sometimes just to get your job picked out and where you want to be. And like sometimes that's a long conversation. I was flying in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying, man? So you can change your reality in 3 days. Think about the resurrection, man. Think about the resurrection. That was a 3-day process. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about that story, of course there's some different dynamics I'm speaking to, but it's relatable to this. Like if you can go through that type transition in 3 days, that's what that's representing. Ultimate change. But you got to go inside that. You got to go inside that tomb. You got to go inside that mind. You know what I'm saying? It's that crazy, man. And even when I look at every single sector of my life, the transition, even if the pressure wasn't applied as much as another time, it was still a quick process of me transitioning. It's a quick process, man. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately it's all about what you're feeding the algorithm. That's really what it comes down to. What are you feeding the algorithm of life? Y'all know what I mean? Like go to your Instagram page and look at your explore page. What you see is what you've been feeding Instagram. So you're getting that back. You know what I'm saying? Whatever comes up on your explore screen, it's going to tell you exactly what you've been doing some deep research into. The world is the same way. What you put into that algorithm, that thinking stuff that Waddles talked about, whatever you put into that algorithm, man, it's going to give that back to you, man. So it's just a matter of constructing a new blend to put into that stuff, constructing a new recipe. And once you do that, man, your world is getting ready to do some things. And of course, this can be a long, drawn out process, because for most people in most situations, that quantum leap, it's a process. Like, it took me a year to do a certain thing, or it took me 6 months. Like, it can be a process. It doesn't have to be overnight. But I'm saying sometimes, man, sometimes the person just gets fed up with their life and they say, man, I'm tired of this life. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of whatever this situation is, and I got to get out of this situation now. I'm gonna say this. And I'm not gonna go into it, man. But y'all sometimes, every once in a while, here on YouTube, I'll speak about the transition during 1919, when all those companies were going through those things, and I always talk about the 100-year cycle, how certain things happen over a 100-year course. Like in the power circle, we talk about that more often, man, about the cycles and what's taking place. And all I'm gonna say is this: like, that window is closing. When we talk about that 100-year cycle, when we talk about all those businesses and how people were making moves in 1919 to the point to where now they're household names. Halliburton, Cummins Inc. Like somebody 100 years ago was doing some deep work. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is that window is closing, because it doesn't remain open. It'll be time for another season here in a minute. You gotta have your depressions. You gotta have everything in that 100-year cycle, man. So, but going back to what I was saying, to transition in 3 days is just a matter of figuring out what you're putting into that algorithm, mainly. Like, be cautious of what you're putting into it. How you're moving, how you're conducting yourself, what you're digesting, what you're reading, what you're eating. Everything is speaking to that world. Every single thing you do is speaking to that world. Every single thing you think is speaking to that thinking stuff. The way you walk in a room is commanding something of that ether. You got to be aware of that. So the first thing is algorithm, but the second part of that is the only thing you have to do, man, to be in that world is to be present in it. How copy? The only thing you need to do to be in that world is to be present in it. I'm going to say this. Presence is something that's very rare. Like, a person that's in that present moment. It's very rare. It seems like something that everybody is always in, but being present is very rare. What do you mean, soul? it's very rare that you encounter somebody that's only living in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not pulling any energy from their past, that they don't have any hopes about anything in the future. Like all things that require their life to move forward is about right now. My current energy. A lot of people aren't, and I'm gonna tell you this, you can almost see it on a person's face when they're in it. If you're in it. If you're in it, you can see it on a person's face when they're in it. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to be present. I'm gonna say this real quick, man. Like now, like I'm gonna tell you this. Like that's one reason I believe why physical fitness is so important to moving forward. Like even if you're a person that hasn't been going to the gym, if you do get in that cycle, you going to the gym more with it's cardio, but like if you're doing some lifting, I'm gonna tell you something. Lifting brings you to the present moment. Because it's taking everything in you to be present when you're not finna go to the gym and not be present. When you do, you see the people kind of walk around and kind of just sitting on the machine for a few minutes and doing XYZ. They're not present. Because once you get to picking up that Ironman, it's going to bring you to that current reality. Like, this is mine now. This is how I'm moving. This is how I'm thinking. This is how I'm conducting myself. These are my actions. Like lifting weights, man, it brings you to that present moment, man. You know, so that's why the dopamine that comes from that is so addictive, man. But going back to but once you're present in any scenario, that world must be present around you. It must be present around you. Like you've heard me say, like when it comes to meditation, like what's the whole point of meditation? The whole point of meditation is for you to gather that frequency to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is what that present moment feels like it's so much easier to go to that present moment in your mind in meditation, because it's like you're lifting mental weights. Like it takes everything in you to be present. So when you're present in this new world, you're supposed to be present in this new world and observing it, observing everything about it. Like I'm always saying, being able to speak to it, being able to speak to how people are talking to you, being able to speak to what your energy is like, everything. The whole objective of meditation is to experience that, capture that, and bring it back so you can match that energy over here and be present in that same moment. Being present in that same moment. So I'm not gonna filibuster this whole thing. I know it's Friday, man. You know, but I'm gonna tell you this: the recipe, we're talking about how to do this in 3 days. So if you're a person that you're saying, hey, you know what, man, like my life is doing this, like I'm ready for change, but I know next time, you know, next year 2027, I can be there. No, bro, in 3 days you can be there. In 3 days, like there's been times in my life, man, where I've been in a situation, man, where I was like, you know, let's say for example, it was a job that I was like, man, this job is killing me, it's wearing me out. There's been some times where I've taken 2 or 3 days off. You know what I'm saying? And I say, you know what? I understand by me taking this vacation time, knowing I'm just gonna go put myself in a cell. I understand that when I come back out of this, I'm going to be somebody different and create something different. I was just sharing this on a video. This might have been Power Circle, where I was talking about when I was on that drilling rig. When I was on this drilling rig in Kilgore, man, brother, it was hard work. And I was in my 30s then. Yeah, I was in my 30s. You know, a lot of them young men on drilling rigs, they in their 20s. And brother, it was rough. I'm like, you know, of course your boy was getting it, but I was like, man, I ain't about this life. And I can remember taking my time off because we was on rotating schedule. And before I came back, they couldn't even identify who I was. I was moving so different. And in a short period of time after that, brother, my life was completely different. So it's gonna take you sitting still for 72 hours if you can do that. If you ain't gotta be at the club, if you ain't gotta be at some side chick's crib, and you can sit down for 3 days, bro, you can have a whole new world.